Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wind Waker Tournament Season 3 match. This is our winner's bracket, Round 2, neefe versus Gymnast86. We are on our way here shortly, so I'm going to toss it over to Mel and Elijah.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys. How's it going? So I hope everyone is as excited as we are for this matchup. The last race between these two guys was super close, like scary close.
Yeah, I think they were, a minute apart?
Yeah. Like, oh man. Like, that's the kind of race that you live for right there.
Definitely.
We should be just a moment or so away from getting underway, I believe. And hopefully we're in for another good show. I know I'm hoping for one of those crazy seeds that has a bunch of ridiculousness that is going to be... Generally, those are torture for the runners, but they're so much fun to watch. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. I love having those random items in the worst possible places.
Absolutely. And it looks like we're underway now, just getting started. We'll see what our runner's first decision is. Looks like Jim's heading over to Diamond Step to do a strat called Diamond Step early, and neefe is just going to head straight to Cliff Plateau. So already some differences in what we're seeing. Not super... Normally everybody starts the same, but we're going to see... We'll see if this Diamond Step route pays off well for Jim here in just a moment or so. Basic gist of this trick is you want to pull out your sail and jump right into the center of the whirlpool there, and if you make it right in the middle, you get sucked down, you void out, and it puts you right on top of the island, which saves needing to get the hook shot, which could be a fairly late item for us. You never know.
And on neefe's side, he's getting storage here. There, he got it. He's going to store both chests here on Cliff Plateau.
Well, yes, we know how much our lovely trackers enjoy storage. It is their favorite aspect of this run, without question.
And Gymnast making it into the whirlpool.
Now we see the second half of this trick, which involves falling down through the water below the island. Don't ask us how that's physically possible. We still don't know. Physics-wise, it makes no sense, but the game lets us do it anyway. Jim having a little trouble, looks like, navigating himself from inside the island, and doesn't quite make it all the way to the top. Basically, for those of you that don't know, how the game does this is when you're in water, it will always warp you to the highest source of the water. So you go down below the item and you swim up to the water near the top, and it just teleports you up top. It's pretty cool. Like that. As soon as you surface. Oh, there we go. It's true. The physics are a little bit wonky when you're swimming. Wait till you guys see the super swims.
And it looks... yeah. Looks like neefe picked up the grappling hook at Cliff Plateau.
So we're going to see a pretty cool strat from him here. It looks like he's going to use his chest storage that he's got to get into the ferry island here and use the grapple hook to go into Bird's Peak, which is a strat you don't get to see too often.
No, it's not often that we get the grapple hook this early.
Yeah, so definitely cool to see. You can see with that chest storage, he can just walk straight through the wall there, and he's in. We'll see if this Great Fairy is going to help him out a bunch, or Yes, I didn't see a wall. Did you see a wall, Melon?
What? Walls? Those don't exist.
Exactly. Earth God's lyric and a bottle in Diamond Steps, so definitely interesting. Will definitely help. Looks like we mentioned before, Earth Temple and Logic, so Earth God's lyric is definitely a convenience item, not necessary. It is skippable, but makes it a lot easier if you have it, that is. Now we're going to see Jim go over and do the same thing Neefe just did. He's going to go to Cliff Plateau, get his grapple hook. We'll see if he elects to also do the same strategy where he goes up to the Fairy Island and just uses the grapple hook to get into Bird's Peak. And he makes it inside. Very nice. Smooth. And looks like Jim got his storage, so he's going to hop up and store the chest and also be able to basically walk through walls. And a tingle statue. One of everybody's favorite items to get in this room. Because it's fun. Hello, Pogi. Welcome to the race. See Jim having a little bit of trouble getting in here. Normally you can just hit those vines and they just kind of bop you right in, however you want to call that. Like that. Bop. It's a fun word. Yeah, the tingle statues actually do not help with these settings. There is a setting to where they could be needed. So they do, if you get all 5, you get an item from one of the Tingle Brothers. Or, whatever, however you want to refer to them. But that is not turned on for this, so it will not contain a necessary item. Could still collect them if you wanted to, but not really necessary for progression. And we're going to check out Northern Fairy here, see what we've got. And looks like Jim's just going to go into Bird's Peak. So
yeah, I don't think Jim checked to see what he got from those chests, so
gotcha.
Doesn't know quite yet that he has the grapple.
Yeah, that is correct, Jay. His name is Ankle. And Favor's Pearl, very nice.
Not only is that necessary to open Tower of the Gods, but it also gives us a letter.
Yep. Which could contain anything.
Indeed it could. Going well, Goomba. How are you doing?
And I am fine as well. Thank you for asking. We see Jim pick up his Tingle statue there, so he can be just as pleased as I'm sure Neefe was. See, Goomba, you say you're good, but the ... dots make me think otherwise.
Both runners on Windfall now.
Pogi, we don't like to talk about that.
Or I guess Gymnast
stuck on the corner.
Going to check Northern Fairy first.
That corner always gets me too. You try and cut it tight, to save time because, save the frames. And then you just bump into the island and it sucks you right in. It's like a vortex. None of you guys have any proof that I'm fake, so. Yeah, anybody have any fun predictions they want to make? Considering we're so early in the seed, we basically have nothing to go on other than early grapple hook. It would be yeah, bottle for grandma. It would be kind of cool to see something crazy like vanilla light arrows. Or I'm always a big fan of the deluxe picto box being in the light arrow chest or something like that, and then the deluxe picto box having light arrows, because that's pretty horrendous. But still fun. Still fun. At least I think it's fun. Yes, Zelda, that absolutely can happen. Or even, we've seen it is possible you could get the fire and ice arrows be in the light arrow chest, and then one of the fire and ice checks have the light arrows. That is also possible. And we're getting a quiver upgrade, which is another nice convenience item to have. Extra, nobody will ever really say no to extra arrows. Because it's always, you always want to get the, more like a progression item like the leaf or something like that. Or maybe a bow instead of the arrows. But, assuming that you're going to get a lot of checks that are going to lead to nothing, like a treasure chart or something like that, a quiver is not a bad item to get. Rupee bag from Tingle, very nice. Also leads us to a check. And a heart container. So extra life for our runners in the beginning here. Always kind of fun. Yeah, not a whole lot to explain here. Just kind of running around Windfall, talking to some people, getting a bunch of free items that they give us, just to sort of see what all we can get. And usually that kind of helps you decide where the game wants you to go. And bombs. Ooh.
Tot giving us bombs.
Early bombs is so nice. Oh, man. That... Getting early bombs really always relieves, takes a load off of my shoulders, you know what I mean? It's like, I can breathe. I don't have to panic about tingle chests, things like that. It's super nice. And bombs are going to be required for this seed for Godin, so we were going to get them pretty much anyway. Yes, sometimes it can be fun to come up with all the horrible ways that the randomizer can troll you. And a Master Sword already, too. Wow. And whoever rolled this seed sure doesn't like to wait for these races to go through, do they? Oh, the Tingle Ruby. That's fun. It's a neat item to find. Almost as much fun as the one single green rupee. We're going to see Neefe go for Mila here, who has one of the really, really slow checks in the game, as unfortunate as that is. But it looks like he's going to be banking on that, giving him something really cool early. Wonder if Gymnast will do the same, or if he will elect to save Mila for his next trip to Windfall. Both of the runners have everything they need to clear DRC. Not within logic, but I'm sure they know all the tricks to be able to do that. So that could be a potential play we see here soon. More mail checks coming in for neefe there. See a couple of charts, so not really what you're hoping for.
Not with these settings, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're playing with all the settings, then, you know, getting one of the charts could be something where you're kind of like, oh, at least that wasn't a complete and total waste of my time. But with these settings, it means it kind of was. And it looks like Jim's going to head over and grab his mail and get his nothing.
Mila being unnecessary this seed.
Very unfortunate. And it looks like Jim is not going to try and do Mila here. He's just going to bail. Yes, I apologize. That was me knocking something over off of my desk. So I apologize for the noise there. Ooh.
So both runners getting a bow from the salvage corps.
Yeah. At this point there, Mikey, both of these runners are pretty much at the same spot. I would say Jim is a little bit ahead because he's already checked Diamond Step. Neefe has not. Neefe has checked Mila though, so he does have that advantage, although Diamond Step did potentially contain a useful item with the bottle. But in general, right now, things that we're looking for that could be helpful, delivery bag, bow upgrades, master sword upgrades, the Deku leaf, Picto box, maybe power bracelets, things like that would definitely not be bad finds. Things that are genuinely bad, some people will say pieces of heart, treasure charts, things like that are things that our runners don't want to see. Obviously, rupees. We already have 600. Don't really need any more.
Both runners able to get all 4 chests in pop right now.
Another bow upgrade. Wow.
Very nice.
No problem. Always happy to answer any questions that you might have. Or that anybody has. So we are going now, man. With fire and ice arrows already, we're not even 20 minutes in. That's pretty cool. So that would actually put all of DRC in logic at this point, I believe, because the game wants you to have either the leaf or fire and ice arrows, or all the small keys to be able to get to the basement area. I think those are what the requirements could be, or should be, unless I'm forgetting something. But we got one more check here, at least, that we're going to try first, and that's going to be this fairy island. You need bombs or power bracelets to get inside, and since we have bombs, and it's right beside the last island we were at, we're going to give it a look.
No, player. Keys will be in the dungeon that they are for.
Yeah, so that makes it makes knowing that you can go to a dungeon a lot easier. Both of these runners are fairly experienced, I would say. Definitely two of the better / best runners that we have.
Yep, I know that neefe was at least in the tournament last season. I don't know if he was in any other ones. But no, they're both pretty experienced when it comes to randomizer.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a good one. Neefe did win the first race, but only by, like we said, it was around a minute or so, maybe a minute and some change.
Yeah, it was very close. So.
And so now we're going to see. Looks like Jim went to Southern Ferry, while Neefe decided to go check out Fire Mountain. And so we're seeing another bit of a split by both runners going to different locations. We'll see which one pays off. It is really, really bizarre to see fire and ice arrows this early. Makes me almost wonder when we're going to see the light arrows, if they're going to be just as early, or... I think the earliest I've ever seen light arrows is like 40 minutes. Treasure chart for Jim, that's unfortunate. The check and the flying contest is not in logic for this particular type of settings that we use, so that is not going to contain one of those required items. Fortunately for our runners, but unfortunately for your guests, there be. Yeah, the things that are in logic are the dungeons, gifts, mail, fairy islands, and puzzle caves. Am I missing anything?
I think you got all of them. Maybe.
Oh. And there's the cabana deed. That sounded right. I tried to think of everything I would check. Tingle statues, if you don't count those, as dungeon checks, which I guess they are, but they also have their own category. So, no. Max settings win, right? Those max settings races can be a lot of fun if you have a lot of time, the time that it takes to commit to one. I also like to think Cabana will have something nice. It is a fun check. And there's 2 items there, which basically doubles the chances of there being something good, right? I mean, that's just math. Jim going to check Ice Ring here, so we'll get to see what our elemental islands have in store for us. And Note to Mom, so potential for something good there. Wondering where Jim's going to decide to go next. Looks like Bomb Island seems to be the play.
Everyone's favorite island.
Absolutely. Bomb Island is infamous for being the greatest island in Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. So, and you'll all get to see why very, very shortly here. It is quite a riot, if I may say. The amount of fun you have at Bomb Island is incomparable. And we get our first small key in Dragon Roost. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's always there.
Yeah, very convenient. Very, very convenient for us that that small key was in that chest. You definitely could say that, Polyganon. It definitely could be a blast. You know, I always forget you can use ice arrows on those guys, because I'm used to coming here before I even have that. I guess that's why these guys are the top tier runners, because they don't forget things like that. I assure you, Gymnast is making this island look a lot easier than it actually is. It's very difficult.
Gymnast tends to do that with a lot of things.
Very true. Like, if you were watching me play this island, I would have fallen into lava 6 times by now, and probably started crying. See, those are the things that can happen.
Yep.
You need to have a really nice angle and pray for not bad luck.
Neefe is making excellent use of the ice arrows here in Dragon Roost.
Yep, that's something I did not know about, and that was something that was one of my first runs where it was the only place I had left to go, and I did not know you could use the ice arrows to jump down there. So I spent like 20 minutes just running around like, where do I go? What am I doing wrong? Am I missing something? Did I mark something off incorrectly? But no, I just didn't know about a strat. And now I know how to get down there without anything, so that's nice. Another small key. And see, this is one of the reasons why it's really good to come down here first, because it could have one or both of the small keys you need to progress further into the dungeon. And we're going to have Jim coming up into DRC here as well. The DRC kind of similar to Bomb Island, I suppose, and both keys were down there, so that's the kind of thing that can happen. So that's why it's not necessarily a bad idea to go down there first. Although I suppose by that same logic, both those checks could have nothing in it. So it just depends on how you wanna gamble. Oh, nice jump slash there for Jim. That trick's always a little sketchy for me.
Yeah, I'm never able to make that jump.
Yeah, I suppose, like we were saying before, these guys make all this look easy. And pretty much every trick you're going to see them do is going to be sketchy for somebody like me. We're going to see if Gymnast also decides to go down to that basement area first, or if he takes an alternate route. I see him get storage there to skip that cutscene, which can be kind of long. We actually do have our own tracker. He is here in the chat with us.
The wonderful iBot.
The man himself. Looks like Gymnast is going to go with Jay's strategy that he mentioned there before. He's going to try and shoot down that platform with his bow and just go up there. iBot is awesome. I'm gonna get to see if we got any other cool items in here. A big key. That's not super cool, but kind of cool. Let's see if our feathered friends have anything for us. Friend, rather. And, of course, another treasure chart, so... You know, that makes us sad. To finish the game... Oh, you want to take this one, Melon?
I can try. So we need all 3 Master Sword upgrades, all 3 bow upgrades. Hookshot is usually necessary. Grappling hook, and then whatever items are needed to complete the dungeons that are in Logic.
Yes, we need the 4 Triforce shards to get down to Hyrule, and those, because of the settings we use, those are always the rewards for beating the 4 dungeons in Logic. So we know we have to kill those defeat those 4 bosses to get our Triforce shards. Then we get to go to Hyrule and defeat Ganon. Technically, the game wants you to have the boomerang to do that as well, but we don't like to do that. We just, even if we find it, most people don't use it. It's slow. Unless you're bad at aiming like me, then it's fast.
Same.
Watching these guys do these jump slashes is really sketchy. It's freaking me out. It's getting to my anxiety. Mikey Mike, you can ask all the questions you desire.
There are the power bracelets in the pot room here.
Power bracelets definitely a required item this time around, as we need to defeat Jahala in Earth Temple. No way to defeat him, at least that I know of, without power bracelets. Although that's not really saying much. I definitely don't know everything about this game.
I don't think we have any rules on glitches. There are a couple dupes that you're not allowed to do on progressive items. I think that's the only
I think you are correct.
banned glitch. So,
is barrier skip banned?
the rule is that if it ever is found for this version of the game, the American release version, that it will be banned.
Gotcha.
But currently it is impossible.
Well, there we have it. So see, now there's no reason to even look for that. At least not for the rando runners. It would make these races less. It would make these races a little less entertaining anyway. And then you don't have to do any of the dungeons. You know what I mean? Although you might, but you wouldn't have to defeat the boss. Right, exactly. Gallium gets it. Those kind of things are pretty cool for, you know, like the vanilla speedruns, but not as much fun for this type of way to play the game. We are seeing, looks like, slightly different routes here. Kinda. There we go. Sometimes that bridge just doesn't like to break. Din's Pearl. So that's another item we need this time around to get into... to get into Tower of the Gods. Ooh, that's unfortunate timing there by the we get another synchronization by our runners here, this time with getting burned by the lava.
Gymnast doing a pause buffer here, but
This strat's so cool.
ooh,
Oh, that's unfortunate. Wonder if he's going to go for it again. Looks like yes is the answer. And he
there it
makes.
goes.
Very cool. Very cool strat. 10 out of 10. There, Gymnast picking up his boomerang as we see Neefe going to come over here and go ahead and finish up, do the boss, I believe. He's also going to grab a fairy for saving Grandma later. I'm actually not sure what a crowd control mode is. Do you know what that means?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm definitely interested in learning. Oh, is that one of those things where you can like change it by voting in? I gotcha. I know what you're talking about now. Kind of like how like the Link to the Past ones where they donate so many bits or whatnot, and they can reverse the runner's controls, or take away a heart piece or something like that. I understand. It could be interesting for this. I mean, I've seen, obviously there are the enemies, the pose that they can take control. I know moving around while they've got one of the pose in them, so some people might be able to have some fun with them. Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. Not the best for racing, but it could be fun to see the potential for that for people that want to do something like that. I can see too enough people start contributing, and the Magtail kind of trolling Jim a little bit there. That can be a little chaotic for the runner, and you might just want to give up at some point. And we see our first Triforce shard over there for Neefe.
So Mikey, the Red Wind Waker is the Earth God's lyric, which is a song needed for one of the dungeons. And the golden circles are the power bracelets, which are also an item necessary for that same dungeon.
Yeah, you need the power bracelets to be able to lift up the boss to throw him against the wall, so that way you can damage all the little dudes inside of him. Little dudes is actually the correct name. It's what they're called in the official Zelda, encyclopedia. So, fun fact for those of you here that
yes, Neefe does have a Sans model.
yeah, there are a ton of really cool character models and things for the Wind Waker randomizer. Not the least of which include the Sans model. You can play as Grandma, Tetra, Medley, all kinds of cool different. Jim did do more overworld checks than Neefe, before entering DRC. So Gym might be a little bit ahead still, but they're still really close. Neefe going back and picking up one of those checks that Jim already did, so that's catching back up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, and I only named a few custom character models, and people are designing and trying to create more every day, really. So there's close to 20 or 30 right now, I think. Right? Does that sound right, Melon? Or do you?
I don't know the exact number of models.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Let's just say. Jim did not do Mila or Thorn yet. But he did check Ice Ring, which Neefe is there now. Neefe did Fire Mountain, which Jim didn't do. And that was the Cabana deed, I believe. If I'm right. But Jim also did, what was the other one he did? Where he got the Earth Gods lyric. Was that here?
Southern Fairy.
Southern Fairy.
I know he checked Southern Fairy.
I know. I think Neefe just went there, and yeah, that's probably a pretty good bet, I would say, as well. Makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's right. Earth God's lyric was in Diamond Step.
Yeah, that's why I forgot, because we've had it for so long. Diamond Step. I mean, I know it was only like 40 minutes ago, but that feels like 40 hours ago. So much stuff has happened. But yeah, and any one of these random islands could have something really insane that if one of them checks it and one of them doesn't, could put them at a huge advantage. See where Neefe decides to go next. Bomb Island is another one that Jim checked as well, and I only remember that now because it looks like that's where Neefe is heading. Yep. Yeah, the location of Nehru's Pearl could be critical here. In seeing who gets a bit of a lead. Or also, finding the Skull Hammer could potentially be really nice. And Jim picking up his Triforce Shard there. And he is going to hop on out of DRC. I agree with iBot. Wind Temple does have the best boss music. With these settings, Mikey Mike, it's usually the top runners usually take on average between 2 hours and 2 hours and 15 minutes. Sometimes you get some really fast ones where you see them go like an hour 50, hour 45. Getting sub 2 is generally really good. For some of the more mid-level, less good players like myself, 2.5 hours is pretty standard for. It's pretty rare to see a seed that takes over 3 hours, but it's not impossible if you make enough mistakes, or if the seed is particularly punishing. We've definitely seen a couple of those in the tournament. with these settings, it's relatively short. There's a whole host of different settings. You can switch certain checks off and on. You could take dungeons out and just do overworld stuff, or you could, if you really, theoretically, if you wanted to, you could just give yourself all the items you needed at the beginning and just go beat the final boss. These are all things that you can do with the Wind Waker randomizer. These settings have somewhere around 100 to 110 checks, I believe, depending on which dungeons are in Logic. And with the maximum settings, you can go all the way up to 302 checks in Logic. Yeah, the all settings ones can be a long time, and also obviously one of the factor that goes into that is just how random is the seed. Because if you turn on all the settings, you could get something really rude where like you get the light arrows are in like a treasure chart at the bottom of the ocean, and the only way to find that treasure chart is to find another treasure chart that you could only find that from another treasure chart, and technically you could get a chain of, you know, a ton of treasure charts that all, you know, you have to find one to fish up the other, to fish up the next one, to fish up the next one, to eventually get whatever one item is going to lead you to. And then, so to finish the game, we need, Neefe getting Nehru's Pearl. Nice find for him. He's going to be able to go into Tower of the Gods. Yeah, so you need the light arrows, the Master Sword, and the Triforce, the full Triforce. Yeah. I'm pretty sure with the randomizer settings, the treasure charts can lead to other treasure charts. But I guess my memory doesn't always serve me the best. But you could get, I mean, there are other strings where they could get items that lead to other items, etc. Can be fairly unforgiving. And Jim's going to do his Mila checks while checking the Fire Ice Arrow checks here, it looks like. While Neefe goes ahead and saves Grandma. Nehru, did he get that at, was that Needle Rock that he...
Yes.
Okay. We'll see what Grandma's got for us today. The Skull Hammer, that's really good. Wow, that is a really good find. Now we'll probably see Neefe go to Forsaken Fortress, I would imagine. Yes, he could clear everything in Tower of the Gods. He actually could have done that right when he got Nehru's Pearl, but I think he wanted to go get Soup first. And it makes a kind of like CS was saying there, it probably makes a little more sense to go to Forsaken Fortress just because it's faster, and if you get, it's really easy to do quickly, even without like the leaf. But not impossible for sure to do Tower of the Gods without the leaf. The logic of the game wants you to have it, but we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Can I say that?
I don't see why not.
Yeah. The logic of the randomizer tells you that you need the leaf, but there are ways around using it if you really don't want to use it.